Live from the Marsh Theater
What
in
did
San
Loretta do?
Francisco. It's the Will and Willie Show. And this is our 4th of 5 shows. And we are joined in this segment by Carla Marinucci. You used to write for the San Francisco Chronicle. You do the California column for Politico now, for Politico.com. And welcome to the show.
This is the most high-pressure thing I have ever done. I want you to know.
And California's been exciting.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, look, between what's going on nationally and the demise of the Republican Party here, you're really seeing the Trump effect on everything all the way down the line here in California. You're watching people who...
And you know, the interesting thing about the demise of the Republican Party in California, it was not Trump that's killed the Republican Party in California. No, what happened during the Schwarzenegger years, in an effort to gain an advantage, the Republicans thought, they switched a number of things in the electoral process. And the one that has been most devastating for them is that they went to what we do in San Francisco. And that's for a runoff, it's the top 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's before we got to the crazy ranked choice. But it's the top 2. And the top 2 now turns out, in most cases, to be top 2 Democrats.
Democrats, exactly.
That's how you got Kamala Harris and Loretta Sanchez.
And you're looking at that for the foreseeable future. I think statewide races. The Republicans are now 19 points behind the Democrats here in registration, and yeah, they'll be lucky if they get somebody on a statewide ballot now. So between that and you've got a lot of House races here in California where the folks were safe, Darrell Issa being one of them, the Appropriations Committee head. He has always won double digits in his races. He is now, looks like he's going down for the count here in Southern
California. Thank God.
And there's others, and they're all this week. There was freak out because do we stand with Donald Trump or not? Paul Ryan had the big conference call with the Republicans yesterday, and Dana Rohrabacher, Orange County, called them all cowards and said, you got to stand with Trump. What you're watching is people running for the door.
It was the Tea Party that ripped the Republicans off early on, and they made such a profound impact on the Republicans nationally elected to the House that it caused the then Speaker to in fact resign. Ryan is only the compromise beneficiary of what has been an impressive political effort by people who are really Trumpites. And so when he gave them that advice, they'd better be very, very careful, because then, they could get punished very easily in the general election if the Trumpites decide to dump, is what I think is happening in San Diego.
Or not show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not show up.
Yeah, or
That's
not show
dumping
up.
them.
Yeah,
That's
well,
right.
but that's how I think the House is going to get changed. I think the business of not going to the polls by Republicans is going to take Trump's numbers down, and to the extent that that turnout hurts Trump, it kills the people on the downside of the measure. And so Democrats are going to win in seats they never could have won. All over the country, they never could have won before, period. For an example, you may end up with 2 U.S. senators from Missouri. You can't imagine that.
No, exactly. No, this is the kind of thing we've never seen before. And places like Orange County that used to be the bedrock Republican district, right? Now you've got a demographic shift, the rise of the Latino voter. What happened to us here in California with 187, the second wave is this time around with the wall. And whether Republicans are going to understand that that's going to affect everything around the country in terms of the Latino vote. This is going to be fascinating to watch how it affects their party for a generation to come. It's unbelievable. But, we've watched Trump. I've watched, I've attended his rallies. We've seen the kind of folks that come out. it was really fascinating to watch his rally in San Jose, where the violence kind of broke out on the street. I was there at that one, and it's just interesting. The whole Trump organization with the media, they for a long time they completely barred Politico from covering their events.
Yeah.
So I was barred. They would never give me press credentials. At that one, I said, I'm going to go down as a general admission person. I want to see this rally. And I was there in the general admission section when someone from the Trump organization came up to me and said, "We understand you're here to disrupt our rally. We have intelligence and you're going to have to leave." And I said, "What are you talking about?" "No, we know that you're here to disrupt us." And at that point, I was interviewing the head of the California Republican Party, the vice chair, and she said, "I've known this woman for years, leave her alone." And before he went away, he said, "Well, you're not allowed to talk to anybody or to report from this rally." And at that point, you just wanted to go, what, has the First Amendment been suspended too?
Carla, did they come around you and start chanting, "Jail her"?
I mean, it was
I
just
assume
surreal.
you probably own the list. He has a whole list of people he intends to have investigated.
Well, the interesting thing is, I mean, we forget.
I was on Nixon's list.
Yeah. Trump, this isn't his first rodeo running for president, and
You were on his plane.
Yes, I actually traveled with Donald Trump when he first ran for president in 1999 in California.
On the Reform Party.
As a Reform Party candidate, and he brought us all down to California. It was like a road show. It was a scene, and they had Wayne Gretzky there, and Larry King and Candace Bergen,
Chachi.
and yeah, I mean, it was like this crazy celebrity thing. He brought us all there. He had his wife. Well, she wasn't. Melania was the eye candy or arm candy at the time, because she went to all of his press conferences in the 5-inch Manolo Blahnik heels, but she never said a thing at any time to any of us through the whole thing. We were on Trump One plane, which, by the way, had a round bed at the time. Player, I don't know what that meant, but I mean, it was surreal going to the Museum of Tolerance on a tour with Donald Trump. I have to say he was fun to hang out with.
But at that time, you did not know. He didn't have any of the deplorable kind of things that he's currently accused of and is doing and has done. Whether or not he said anything about the Muslims, he didn't say anything about African Americans, he didn't say anything about a wall full of Latinos. He was none of that.
No, he wasn't on that at all. I mean, at one point he took us to a Anthony Robbins motivational rally, and we watched him speak there. At one point in the whole thing, he said, "Hey, do you want to come with me to hang out with Jay Leno in the green room?" So I went down there to NBC Studios, watched these two guys for an hour, go back and forth. It was really fun at the time. He handed out hand sanitizer to everybody, Trump brand, because he's got a germ thing. But I mean, he really does.
Yeah, if you watch at the end of the debates, Hillary's out shaking hands with everybody, and he gets surrounded by his coterie.
Yeah,
and that's why he didn't shake Hillary's hand on the entrance to the debate last time. He doesn't do that.
He did at the end.
No, but going at the outset.
Yeah.
The opening round, he did not.
Then he can't wash his hands
touch
for
the
90
glove.
minutes.
They touched the gloves.
Yeah.
No, he was not able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that.
I think she should demand that she.
I kept trying to figure out. I kept trying to figure out why that tie. The width of that tie.
Why is it so long?
It's because it's a hand wiper.
Carla, speaking of clothing, you noticed something about the Gucci creation that Melania Trump.
That's
was
right.
wearing.
And this was caught on Twitter that Melania came to the second debate wearing this bright pink Gucci bow tie blouse, which, if you go on the Gucci website, is called the Pussy Blow blouse. And the question is,
You can't make this up.
Was she trying to send a message to Donald or the women out there? Which one was it? I mean,
her dad does not suffer, things said badly about his daughter Melania. Victor is a heavy starter, and I wouldn't be surprised because they've thrown Melania under the bus. I mean, that whole thing about she wrote her own thing, and no, she didn't write her own thing. She took and someone.
You're right. Michelle wrote it.
So, and he's treated Donald has treated Melania really badly. And I bet after the election, if Donald loses, he's going to have an accident.
And if he wins, though, can you imagine what a power woman she'll be as first lady? If he ever tries to divorce her, he's going to get like west of Mississippi. Yeah. I mean, right?
He's not going to win.
He can win.
No.
Brexit was 9 points behind the day of the election. Some people voted for Brexit, and they were quoted afterwards as saying, I wouldn't have voted for it if I thought it would pass.
No, they thought it was...
those same people here in America.
And people point to the Columbia referendum recently, another one where it was a protest vote against that peace agreement in Colombia, and was the polls showed that was going to pass.
I'm telling you all, be very clear. Just like I said in June of 2015, he would get the nomination, and people said you're crazy. That's not,
well, I hope you're right.
And he got the nomination. I'm now telling you. Hillary is going to be the president.
Something else you've been right about, too? Because you were the first person, Mayor Brown, to actually reference Donald Trump's suits. Today I saw the first story ever, I think, where a male politician is absolutely dissected for what he's wearing, and everybody's commenting on the cheap suits.
They're very cheap suits. As a matter of fact, they're like made overnight. Somewhere, and they can't go near heat. They've been fused. That's right. They've been fused together, and they will explode. As a matter of fact, the terrorist uses it as a
to wrap his suicide bomb in.
No, I mean, this week has been, watching that debate, it was like an episode of the Jerry Springer show. I felt like that's what I was watching. And, some of these millennials watching were also horrified. I don't know what happens. Do a lot of them sit out sit this whole thing out? I have to say, Gary Johnson, I think the Libertarian candidate, used to be sort of an alternative to a lot of them, but he's had a couple of bad moments. He couldn't name a world leader. I have to say, I interviewed him here in San Francisco on stage and asked him what his favorite strain of marijuana was, and he knew that right away. He didn't have any trouble with that.
He knows what's important. At least in San Francisco.
So, who knows how that's going to play out?
At the Libertarian Convention, he got booed because Gary Johnson got booed because he said he was in favor of driver's licenses, and the whole Libertarian, he got booed at the convention. They don't believe in public education. They don't believe in Medicare or Social Security. People, if the kids knew, what the Libertarian Party actually stands for, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's actually the same with Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, because when you look at her background, and the only thing she's ever been elected to is the District 2 seat of the Lexington, Massachusetts Town Council. It's like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone ask her, like, how does that qualify you to be President of the United States? Maybe I don't know what her answer would be.
Will this lead to legitimate third parties? Will there be a different party than the Republican Party, like the Paul Ryan?
Don't you all think that Michael Bloomberg is probably kicking himself today, saying, God, this was my chance. Why didn't I go? Why didn't I jump? I
think if Biden had gotten in, if Bo hadn't died, if Biden had gotten in, he and Hillary would have split the moderate vote, and Bernie might have won the nomination.
But Bloomberg, running as an independent, would right now be
at 20%.
The talk of the town.
He'd be in all the debates.
No question.
But I don't think he'd win any states.
Well, that's because you got
Perot.
You got
Perot won 20%.
Trump is going to end up with 33, and Hillary would end up with 43, and then Bloomberg would have gotten the rest.
Yeah.
Which means Hillary would win.
Well, in '92, in '93, when Clinton was elected, he was the 42nd president, but the Republican Congress kept referring to him as Mr. 43 because he only got 43% of the popular vote, and that's why they wouldn't pass. That's why it's important people go out there and vote for Hillary, get her over the 50.1% majority vote, so that they can't dismiss it.
So Bush too should have been number 41.
Yeah. They're both 41.
Yeah.
Jeb would have been 41.
By the way, Gore is still alive. He's showing up.
He is.
He's
He showed
showing
up
up
today.
in Florida, hanging with Hillary.
The side of his major.
Hillary's got a great lineup, though, of surrogates. It is incredible. How do you go with Barack Obama, you go with Michelle Obama, you go with Barney Sanders, you go with Al Gore, you go with Joe Biden, you go with, who else? I think she could do Bloomberg. I bet you Bloomberg.
Yes, actually, I think he's been out there for her.
Yeah, I
And
think
Trump has his third wife, and the son of the first wife, and the other son of the first wife, and the daughter of the first, and the daughter of the second wife, and
Who
the
sat
son
up
of
in
the
cheap
third
seats.
wife.
Yeah.
And I guess people think I'm shallow or what have you, but I looked at all those children the other night when they were up there and they were flashing on them. They didn't look like relatives.
Okay.
And
That was a new riff.
They didn't.
And Tiffany was put in the cheap seats.
What was that?
Exactly.
I'm telling
she
you, there was
wasn't
some
in the family
separation.
box.
I'm telling you, that crowd, and there's one of them that's clearly see-through. He's so
White.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I mean,
So white
you
as
can see through
porcelain.
him. He looks.
No, he's beyond porcelain. He's translucent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's what I
unbelievable. So Trump's got a lot of issues beyond what he's.
Can you stay
What's
for a third
apparent?
segment?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Must
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Q&A with the audience
Yeah.
here at the Marsh Theater in San Francisco.
In front of a live studio audience.
And I want to give props to the Marsh Theater when we come back.
America is still the place